So you see they go trips, they motion over, and they bounce Nixon over. So they really kind of looking at a man here, and he just gets caught with his eyes. So they do an out and up. They clear it out with the go route on the inside. And so you're starting out, and Geno Smith can throw the football to spots. He's got a great arm. He's strong, stands in the pocket, takes probably a couple unnecessary hits because of it, but he can deliver a football on the spot where it needs to be. And so you look at this. I think this is the second play of the game. You're going, okay, well they've got a little something there, but this is really the moment of the day, and this is the theme of the day. And I'm going to start back and I'll show you why on the widescreen, but Nixon's the only linebacker, quote unquote. Sorry, Nixon's the only second level player in the box because they have Walker and McDuffie walked out towards the bunch. This is an advantageous play for Seattle, but TJ Slayton wins his matchup, just completely dominates, ragdolls the guard, who had a rough day, and gets in the backfield. Now, same play, different angle. The Seahawks guessed right, but you still got to block the player. So we got McDuffie out here on the point. Quay's got to be halfway in between because they need to be able to attack this when they throw the screen. They show that they're going to run the bubble. They hand the ball off. And so this should be a great play for the Seattle Seahawks schematically. TJ Slayton just destroys the play. And quite frankly, this was the theme of the game. We had a lot of schematic wins, but if it's even, these guys are winning their matchups. Go 2-by-2 here. Everybody's walked up. A-gap rushers. Edgerrin Cooper, we've seen this a number of different times with Quay, but he's starting from depth. This is the old Chicago Bears defense when Briggs and Urlacher would walk up and which one was going to pick. We've seen this for 20 years. I'll show this play from the other angle because, Laken Tomlinson's a left guard for the Seattle Seahawks. He's a good player, veteran in this league. And you're kind of shocked. The center's going to point to the right. He's going to go to Quay because Quay's been the guy that's coming. So they're going to run the pick stunt on the left guard and have Kenny come underneath. But I have to be honest, for him to set flat like this with the running back that far in the backfield, I was shocked. I mean, this is a great scheme call by the Packers, but really blockhead play for me for the left guard. And this is what the Packers have done well all year, quite frankly, is when somebody makes a mistake, I think defensively, they don't, they take advantage. Like you're taking your gimmies, and you have to credit the Packers for being able to do that because not everybody in this league takes their gimmies, quite frankly. So we get 1 sack there. So you just start and have floodgates are open, guys. So we start the run game here. This changeup I just wanted to show because every time, and this is not a Lucas Van Ness thing at all. This is really anybody on the defense. On that open end side, and we see we have a potential crack, but these guys are trying to penetrate. They're in a 3-point. They're not trying to play back out. And everybody's probably seen that at this point. So the reason I bring it up is at this set, they've been running tackle blocks down, and we've got a pin, and we've got a backside guard who's pulling. We'll come and crack Isaiah McDuffie with the wide receiver, and then we have the guard coming up to Quay, and it's out the gate, right? So the Packers adjusted to that, moved everybody out, and they always want to shoot this defensive end. So the Seahawks, I thought, had a good change up here because they know that guy's going to crash and go upfield and try to disrupt this guard. They just pinned it with the wide receiver, and they pulled 2 guys. They ran this play 2 or 3 times. One of them was for no gain, but the other 2 actually were good plays. One was for a touchdown, kind of not a garbage touchdown, but pretty close. But good job of these guys getting around, and obviously we have to make the tackle downfield. Just an interesting changeup because this, part of these games are really hard chess matches is from the offensive defense coordinator perspective. So we come across here, and now this is why you have to run those kind of plays. If they run the split flow where they have the tight end coming backside, you've got your backside defensive end in a 3-point. I think this is an Igbari, and he's not slowing down for anybody. He's just running to the mesh point, and as soon as he identifies what's happening, making a play. And this has just been kind of the name of the game really all year for the Green Bay Packers is we're going to get there before the split flow happens, especially when they understand the depth and the width of the running back. And so, again, for me, that's part of the interesting part of the game is they're going to look at that play and go, how do we attack this player knowing that he's going to be able to come that strong downhill or upfield? And then is that going to have any effect on what he does the next time around? The answer was no. So we got a trip side. I think we're going to go in motion to a 2x2 here. Yep. We go across. And I think this is start with the floodgates are open. Yep. So this is really Karl Brooks doing a great job of winning on a double swipe. I'm going to show it here from the end zone. He doesn't get any stats here, but this is really his play. Maybe he got a pressure. I'm not sure. But, Rashawn Gary ends up getting the sack. This is really Karl Brooks' play. Rashawn gets blocked pretty well by 72. Abraham. Double swipe. Beats that guard was, I felt bad for this guard. I've been in that situation, man. He had a rough day. So double swipe, wins, and Rashawn is the beneficiary of that guard getting beat so bad, comes up underneath and gets a play. Fantastic job. And listen, that's what it takes. One guy wins, the other guy cleans up. Now, this scheme is different, and I'm going to show this from the Packers offense, Seattle defense. When you have the back off set, you have to figure out defensively, how do you want to match that set? In other words, would you prefer that the linebacker, Kenny Clark doesn't have to be this wide. Kenny can play a regular 3 technique, and we can move Isaiah McDuffie out to mirror in case they want to do the quick toss. But they prefer to play this inside. They shift Quay over, and they keep Kenny on the backside. My guess is they decide to do this because they don't think Kenny will get blocked by the backside tackle. In other words, they think that that's a matchup they like from a leverage standpoint. And this allows Isaiah McDuffie, if they go outside, to have a little bit cleaner picture, as opposed to him being backside B gap, Kenny's tight, and then he's got to figure out if he's going to play over the top, and Kenny's going to get double. With this defense right here, I would be running inside all day, every day. You could run a full block with the left guard on Kenny and have the tackle come around for McDuffie and just double team up to Quay. I mean, there's so many things you could do that are successful. They decide to run this outside, talking about Seattle, and it just sends up. This is maybe why the Packers run the scheme the way they do, because now it's so obvious. I think the guard false steps here, but McDuffie runs right by. Witt runs by. Quay gets bounced over, but they end up getting a tackle for 1 yard gain on a play that should have been successful just based on numbers. Again, people are winning. This dig route, this deep cross is really tough because he breaks it at 32 and catches the ball at the 32. When you have the safety playing high man on that crosser like that, and he's got a drive on it, you're hoping that player does a little bit of a it's a little sloppy with that cut and fades that into the 29, 28 where he can get to it. If they keep that clean, it's a really tough play. Smith-Jigba, I mean, one thing they talked about on the TV copy of this is how often they're targeting one player, and is that affecting the team? It's certainly affecting the way they can move the football right now, given the fact that they do have Tyler and obviously DK at the wide receiver position, maybe not being used to their full extent right now. Kenneth Walker III being out, it's an issue as well. But the Green Bay Packers, you got to pick a couple plays out here where they don't have it perfect, because man, they really played well during this game. So we've got trips, single receiver to the bottom, and they run Eric Wilson on the stunt. And they showed this on TV. They actually explained this incorrectly. So they run the out, and it is compressed space, but really we're going high side for the corner here. He's not just trying to run out 5 yards halfway through the end zone. You're going to take all this space and try to run away, and Gino's got to put it on the spot. Now, we do a great job of coming off this pass. I think this is the second play in a row that he had a chance at a pick. Getting some yards and doing the whole thing. It's fantastic. And it's a great play. There's no question about it. This is the real reason. Pressure equals picks. So 45, Wilson comes out, and we've got two guys in Gino's face. He's going the wrong direction. He's back foot throwing, so he doesn't get enough on the ball. This is the reason for the pick. Pressure equals picks. That's the way things are happening. Ball was just thrown short. It's as simple as that. You heard it here. Great play to be made. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely dominant performance, I think, at times by TJ Slaton. So centers. So we got easy blocks here. Again, numbers-wise, this is very easy. Very, very easy. We have a slip to Wilson with the left guard, left tackle. We have a single block, the hardest block. We have a backside B to McDuffie. Tight end's either going to sift this through, like put a hand on Rashawn and play up to McKinney. But so there's only one person that has to win, and they do. They just absolutely dominate that block. Force the backside cutback. Gary wins his. So Gary did a little bit of a cheat stunt inside, and they end up getting nothing. McDuffie chases him down. That's what's happening right now with this team. Is if you're going to be able to win inside against a very very below average or average or below average interior offensive line, you're going to have a lot of success. So we go double threes. We've got the new spin move from Devontae Wyatt. I don't have Van Ness on here. I should have put it on because it's great to see that they're doing something new. This right guard, this poor kid gets beat again. And then, Devontae Wyatt just Supermans this guy. Like he does sumo splash on Geno. This is, I think, right before Geno gets injured. We got this play I wanted to put in there because we don't, appreciate this enough. So Kenny does a great club rip move here to the inside again on that right guard, poor kid. But he gets a holding call. He gets, this is a takedown tackle. And they end up scrambling, and Geno does a good job of making a play here, and they end up getting a first down. They have to bring it back. So instead of 1st and 10, it's like 2nd and 22 or something like that. And that's a big deal. I mean, we don't get, again, it's not about getting credit for these plays sometimes. You're trying to see what the value is for a certain player or whatever. Sometimes guys look at their stats. It's like, you got to watch the tape. That's a big play in the game. This is when you know things are going well. You only rush 3, you drop 1. And Enagbare does a good job here. Again, you bring in the backup quarterback, and you're thinking how many sacks he's getting. Like this team knows they're in a lot of trouble. They have to throw the football. This isn't game management anymore. It's just go in and try to win the football game. Enagbare, Abraham comes back 72. He takes a decent set, but you watch his hands, and his hands are spread. He gives up the chest. And so Enagbare just takes it, take the chest, push him away. Quarterback's holding the ball. That should never happen, but that's why he's the backup. We go motion over to trips, 4-man rush, and he's got plenty of time to throw. Initially, he gets deep, has to run through the pocket, and it's like, this is why you have 61 sacks. I think I'm pretty sure that number's right. Right here, Enagbare gets another sack here. If you're the offensive line, I always look at this from a lineman's perspective more than anything else. I go, man, you're gonna throw that damn ball away. You're gonna get us, you're gonna get us all fired. It's a bad deal. But hey, great night for Enagbare. He made some really, really good plays when it mattered. So this is that other handoff of the pin and pull. And if you just go back and watch in the execution of this, different defense now. They're just out of a 2x2, and those guys are tight. So you have to figure they're either running some sort of crack or they're running it over. The corner really is gonna have to make a play, come up right here, set the edge. Always a difficult task because you can't cut those linemen anymore. I don't know why more people don't run this. And this really is a game of confidence. And what do I mean by that? If you're the offensive line, you're down by 20 points, and you got the backup quarterback in, and you start doing the math, and it's like, man, he really gave up 60. He got sacked 60 times last year. Like that's like when David Carr was in the league. We got him at Carolina, and it's kind of turning. It's a little bit of a damaged goods thing when you think like, oh, if a guy got sacked that much, he's part of that's the offensive line, the protection scheme, and everything. Part of that's the guy, like, he's looking for the sack. He's looking for the rusher. So that said, we got 2 eyes. Carl Brooks. The hard part sometimes about blocking a guy who's head up or a 2 eyes, you don't really know how to set. And again, Tomlinson's a good player. But you see Carl Brooks just takes an outside swipe and then a bull. And you just see the body position of the guard right here is just, you couldn't block me doing that. It's just a really, really tough position to be in. He's turned to the sideline. He's standing straight up and down. He's getting bulled. And unfortunately for him, this wasn't the last play of the game, but